Hey guys, this is Jennifer, and this is the Jennifer Allwood Show, the podcast where you learn how to create a beautiful home and build a creative business. Grab a cup of coffee, find a cozy spot in the house, and let's chat. I'm excited you're here. Well, hello, my friends, and welcome back to the podcast. This is episode number 102, where I teach you how you can stand out in a saturated market. I am super excited to chat with you today. And before we get started, I want to quickly just read to you a podcast review. Man, so many of you guys showed up for podcast episode 100, where Jason and I talked about how our life has dramatically and drastically changed in the year 2018 and how we were dealing with all of the things. I cannot believe the number of private emails and DMs and voice messages you guys have left me, a lot of you in tears. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. So thank you for that. And so when I was looking at podcast reviews, because those reviews matter, by the way, they matter. They matter to our business. They matter to our sponsors. They matter to getting our podcast in the rankings. It's important to me to always read a podcast review and just give a shout out to somebody's business. So Liz, who owns a business called Azalea Design, says, Jennifer, thank you for the real talk. This podcast is my new jam. I love that she said that. Your advice is really pushing me to reflect, appreciate, act, pray more, and be a better wife, mom, and business owner. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Liz with Azalea Designs. Go look her up on social media, give her some love, buy some of her things, support another small business owner. So we're going to talk this week about how you can stand out in a saturated market. And I'm going to tell you why I came up with this podcast topic. So I got an email. We get a lot of emails, friends. Special place in heaven for Vicky, who took over my email almost 5 years ago. Thank you, Jesus, and hallelujah. But we get a lot of email. So I get DMs and things. She takes care of the email, but we were contacted by a lady who wants to start, I think, an online painting group, and which I have, by the way. It's called the Paint Finish of the Month. And so I'm going to read to you real quick what she said. And it says, "Hey, Jen, I enjoy following you so much. Watching your business and family explode last year has been so much fun. I have a quick question for you. I'm interested in starting a painting group or an online course because I love the idea of making something once and selling it over and over." Ding, 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 my friend. But it seems like so many painters are already doing this. And here's the kicker. And I'm not sure if the market is saturated. The market is definitely saturated with furniture painters in my city who, by the way, aren't charging enough. And this is frustrating. What are your thoughts? Okay, so can I just say that I loved this correspondence with her, and I wanted to talk to you guys about this because I think, first of all, we need to talk real quick about what it means for a market to be saturated. And that usually just means, oh my goodness, so many people are already doing it. How will I ever stand out? That's usually what a business owner is meaning when they start asking me about saturated markets. And so I messaged this lady back and I told her I wanted to be sure that the market really was saturated. And that maybe it wasn't her just telling herself, perhaps, just perhaps, that the market was saturated in order to let herself off the hook from doing something that felt big, hard, and scary to her. So anybody that has taken one of my courses, they know I use the terms big, hard, and scary all the time because anything that I do in my business to me is big, hard, and scary. And so this precious woman, whose name we will not mention, she's going to do something she's not done in her business before. And so that's big, hard, and scary. None of us go into a brand new thing with the confidence that this is going, to make it. And so I just wanted to be sure when I had conversation with her that it really was that she thinks there's way too many people already doing it, and not that she was just saying that because it's easier to say, gosh, the market's so saturated, instead of doing the thing that she really feels called to do. So I would ask the same of you, those of you that are listening to the podcast today. Is your market really saturated? Or do you maybe just say that as a way almost to self-protect so that you don't have to do the things that are literally intimidating to do? So the word saturation, honestly, and by the way, I don't necessarily think that that was her story. I don't think that she was just saying that. I do think that in a lot of cities, there are tons of furniture painters. I do. But the online space is not crowded. And one of the other things that I wanted to tell you guys that I think is instrumental, if you will listen to this. So if you're doing the dishes right now, stop. If you're working out, breathe deep so you can listen extra. But I want you to hear this, okay? It may feel saturated in your community, but the online space is not saturated. And here's why. This is what I told her. Honey, you follow other people in your industry in the online space, right? So you follow 100 other painters, a lot of which may have a course or an online group or whatever. So you follow them because that's like your jam. It's like your passion. It's like, what you're interested in. It's the fun stuff for you to look at. You follow other people who do the same thing you do because they're talented and they give you inspiration and you love the visual part of social media. I totally get that. I do too. And so because you follow 100 painters, it looks really saturated. But what I was telling her is, honey, your clients don't follow 100 painters. Your clients don't follow 100 painters because they're not in your industry. Do you know what I mean? They may follow a couple, but they don't follow the same people you do. So while from your perspective, and perspective changes everything. From your perspective, it may look saturated. And from a client's perspective, it may look completely the opposite. Like, well, gosh, I sure wish I would take a painting course or do a painting group, but I just can't find any online, or I can't find enough to choose from. Does that make sense? So I want you to know that perspective is everything. Because you're in knee deep in the industry, that's why it looks saturated to you. But for your clients, it doesn't appear the same way. So the word saturation really can be defined by a lot of competition. So if a market's saturated, it's already got a lot of people in there that are going to essentially be your competition. So what I want to talk to you about on this podcast is the fact that literally competition can be a good thing if you will just look at it right. And so I have 3 things that I want you to think of when you're thinking about competition, okay? So the first one is this. Competition can literally light a fire under your butt if you will let it. And if you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you saw some pictures of our new little bonus kiddo, Ari. I've started calling her a bonus kiddo. Since we're her legal guardians, it's not an adoption situation. I'm calling her a bonus kiddo. She's amazing. Oh, gosh, I love that kid. So I showed the story of how we've started Ari in swim lessons, not so that she can learn how to swim, but so she can learn how to not scream. Like literally when I say she's terrified of water, please don't send me your tips because this is like not a normal situation when it comes to her fear of water. It's just not. And so we put her in swim lessons so that she will just get in without screaming. And she didn't want to do it. And on the second week, we literally watched her get in with a group of kids and lay her head down. And she was hanging on to dear life at the ponytail or the side braid of the instructor in the pool. But my girl did it. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay. Number one reason why Ari did that is because she was with another group of people and she didn't want to look like a chump. I mean, nobody wants to look like a chump, right? And so if you're looking at your industry and you're like, all these other people are doing it, well, honey, get in the game. Get in the game. Do not watch that from the sidelines. I did not want to have Ari watching those swim lessons from the sidelines. And so she got in the pool because she wanted to be as equally brave as the people who were already in the ring. And so I would say to you, if you're looking at your industry and going, wow, there's way too much competition, babe, get in. Get on in. Because you know what? One of the reasons there's a lot of people already doing it is this, because it's working, because it's profitable, because it's successful, because the market is asking for it. So get in the ring with your competition. Okay. I also want you to look at your competition. And this is what I think Ari did, as I think she looked at those other 3 kids who got in the pool and she was like, well, if they can do it, I can too. And, this is a biblical concept. Listen, my friends, there is a Bible scripture that says God is no respecter of persons, which means what he can do for one, if he wants to, he can absolutely do it for you too. So what he has done to my business, he can absolutely do it to your business. What he has done to somebody else in your industry and their life and their business, he can absolutely do to yours. He is no respecter of persons. So look at your competition with a new sense of, okay, they're doing it, I can too. They are no specialer than me. That's the word I used on social media. Of course, I know this is not correct grammar, but sometimes it's just way more fun to say it wrong. So those people, my friend, listen to me. I'm speaking to somebody right now. Girlfriend, that group of women who are doing the same thing that you're doing and you feel on the very outside of that industry, on the outside of the group, they are no specialer than you are. They're absolutely no specialer than you are. You can do it too. And I know that when Ari was sitting on the sidelines and she was sitting on the edge of that pool, I know she was thinking, I don't want to look like a chump. And if those kids can do it, I can too. She has just that little bit of competitiveness that all of us do. So use that little bit of competitiveness and get yourself in the ring with the rest of them, okay? It's so important that you do the thing that scares you and that you don't end up 5 years from now thinking, why didn't I start that 5 years ago? Regret is an awful way to live, both in your life and in your business. So if you will look at your competition as a good thing, competition will light a fire under your butt if you will let it. Okay? Second way, I want you to look at your competition. When you're looking at a saturated market and you're thinking, should I even begin? Should I even throw my hat into this hunt? Here's what I want you to consider. If you're looking at how many other people are already in the game, right? Figure out where your competitors have holes at, because this is a great place, a great way for you to make your mark. Do they lack originality? Can you do something that they can't? Have you heard their customer service is lacking? Figure out what you could do that is different than your competitors. So let me give you a couple examples of a couple women that I know just right off the top of my head who are in the painting industry that I've also had the honor of coaching. So Amy Murray owns Amy Murray Designs. You guys might remember Amy as the incredible, genius, talented, ridiculously talented painter who painted my bright blue desk that's sitting right behind me in my office. So Amy is incredibly talented. And the thing Amy does different is she teaches people how to spray their pieces of furniture. She doesn't do them by hand, she sprays. And I can remember conversations with Amy early on and just, I love that she has this one thing that sets her apart from everyone else. Now, could Amy try to teach people how to hand paint also? Of course she could. Of course she could. But you have to remember and think about and really be intentional with this one question that you can ask yourself. What do you want to be known for? And Amy was wanting to be known for the woman who teaches people how to spray. Genius. Her business is genius. Many of you may also follow Kayla Payne from Kayla Payne Designs. Kayla has been an instructor just like Amy has in my Paint Finish of the Month group. And Kayla has always worked with spraying high gloss finishes. So here's what I love about Kayla and her business. When everybody else in the industry zigged, Kayla zagged. I love that. Everybody went down the farmhouse road and Kayla was like, no, not me, baby. I'm doing something shiny. Not necessarily because she was intentionally trying to do something different, but because it was her personal, what she loved. She personally loved color and that very shiny, that very lacquery look. So when I think of high color, high gloss, I instantly think of Kayla Payne. That's what she got known for. So think about what you could get known for, okay? So if you see a ton of people that are in your industry all doing the same thing, think of what you could do different. How could you do it different? I can tell you my own personal story. So let me tell you this real quick. So 4 or 5 years ago, when I was still working out in the field in my decorative painting business, and I knew I wanted something different from my life, I was just so burned out. And my income was just capped, you guys. That's the bottom line. There was no way of me making much more money than I was. And while it was good money, it's not where I wanted to be. I wanted really good money. And so I knew that I had capped myself because I was unable to be at any more job sites at once. I already had a job site going with 8 girls. And I kept thinking, okay, in order to make more money, could I just start another team of girls in another house? And then I was like, oh my gosh, that just sounds awful. And I was just so burned out. And I have a whole episode on my podcast. It's episode 17. If you yourself are burned out, go listen to episode 17 on my podcast, because if you will let it, that feeling of being burned out can be a holy place to be. And if you will let God pivot you, reposition you, and use it for your good. So that's on episode 17 though. So I was capped in my income. I was burned out working out in the field. And so I decided to sell paint videos. And this was really, really different than I saw anybody else doing in the industry. I didn't know anybody else doing it. I decided that instead of just painting locally in my community, and I could have offered painting classes locally in my community, I was like, nope, I'm going to do it online. I'm going to offer people a video and they can learn how to paint their garage doors. They can learn how to paint their cabinets. I can sell them to anybody in the whole wide world if I want to. Now listen, this caused quite a ruckus. It caused quite a ruckus in the industry, but it also went to 6 figures in just 14 months. I made over $100,000 in 14 months off painting videos, you guys. And then I did a painting course and I offered a webinar. Some of you may have even been in on those webinars. They were on cabinet painting and furniture painting and how to use Pinterest. And even though the market for painters may have been saturated locally in Kansas City, I knew that it was not saturated in the online space. So when the rest of your market is zigging, please zag. When you see all of your competitors doing the same thing, figure out what you can do different so that you can stand out in that space. Okie dokie. And the third thing you need to know about viewing what looks like a saturated market is this. If in fact your market is saturated, the cream is always going to rise to the top. And I know some of you are thinking, okay, so that means that the very best people are the ones that are going to make it. Nope. Nope, nope, and nope. I'm going to say something here that's very controversial. I have said this before, and I will say it again. And I completely stand behind this statement, okay? You do not need to be the best in your industry to rise to the top. You just have to be the best at marketing your business. That's it. I was never the most talented painter, and this is what pissed a lot of the industry off. There were so many good painters, so many people so much better than me. In fact, I wasn't even the one out in the field doing the work, and that pissed people off too. Stand in line. But what I was really good at is marketing my business. Now listen, someone needs to tweet this, write it down, have it tattooed on your arm or something, okay? What is marketing? Marketing sounds like such a big, sexy, intimidating word. And at the end of the day, marketing is this. You believe in your heart that what you make or what you offer or the service you have or whatever it is good. That's number one. And that number two, you're willing to tell people that. That's all marketing is. Like, people want marketing classes from me. They want me to do full trainings on marketing, which I'm happy to do that. But at the end of the day, marketing boils down to that. Do you really believe that what you've got for sale, that those earrings are stinking cute? Do you believe that that buffet that you have painted is exceptional? Do you believe that that course you have on how to get things listed on Etsy, do you honestly believe that it's good? Excellent. Tell people. Baby, that is marketing 101. Somebody tweet that, please. Can I get an amen up in the stands? I am on fire right now because somebody is making marketing into this thing it doesn't need to be. You just need to really at your core, because if you don't believe that what you have is good, nobody else is going to believe it's good. So you don't have to be the best in a saturated market. You just have to market yourself better than all the other yahoos in your market. That is it. You just have to be willing to tell people and position it better and build an audience. That's what you have to be good at. And that's how you'll rise to the top. Whew. I gotta call the fire department over here. So to wrap up this podcast, so if you are somebody who's looking at getting into a different industry than maybe what you've been in before, and it looks saturated to you, or you think that you're in an industry that's saturated, like the emailer that I got, and you're wanting to do something different, or you're considering doing an online course and you're just not really sure, you're not sure if people are already doing it, is it too late to even start? I want to ask you this question. Do you really want to see something different in your business this year? I love that Dr. Phil says the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Because here's what I know to be true. If you want to see your business do something different this year, you have to be willing to do something different than what you've ever done. I'm happy to use myself as an example, okay? I did a whole podcast episode on how I don't like free Facebook groups. Go back and find that episode if you would. It was amazing. And I don't like free Facebook groups. And guess what? I'm about to offer you a free Facebook group. I am totally eating my words right now. Do you want to know why? Because I want to have even a bigger year in 2019 than what I had in 2018. So I'm willing to eat my words and have a free Facebook group for you guys that's only a pop-up group, and it's only for 2 weeks. And so I can't continue coaching women on doing things that they are intimidated by, or things that they've never done before, or, doing something different so that you can have different results if I too am not willing to do it. So we are offering a free Facebook group just for 2 weeks. Literally, it will close down on February 15th. So if you're listening to this podcast after February the 15th, I love you so much in my heart. You can go to creatorsroadmap.com and we'll let you know the next time we ever open up a free group like this. But the intention of this group is that I want to have it filled with business owners who are wanting to make money in the online space, who are looking at their market and thinking it's saturated in their local community. They're looking at their brick and mortar thinking, I'm going to have to do something different because Amazon Prime is taking over the world. They are looking at their business and thinking, do I do a course first? Do I do a group first? I don't know. And so for those of you who are interested in doing that, please go sign up. To get on the list. I will notify you next. And then, by the time you guys listen to this podcast, in just the next day or two, about the free Facebook group. Go to creatorsroadmap.com Let me say that one more time for those of you in the back, creatorsroadmap.com, and just put in your email address. We will tell you how to join this free Facebook group. And inside that group, we're going to explore the 6 ways that I make money online that I can teach you about. That's making ads revenue from my blog. You can put ads on your blog or your website, selling information products, including courses, ebooks, and webinars. I'm going to be exploring the idea of making affiliate income with you, of coaching and one-on-one consulting, of doing sponsored content, which is like when I go into a place like Hobby Lobby and I say this video is sponsored by Hobby Lobby, that means that I have been paid to be there. And we're going to explore the option of membership groups for you also. If you have looked around and seen other people doing these sorts of things in your industry, please believe that you can too. Let the ones that you already see doing it spur you into action. So in this group, I'm going to help you figure out all the options for you in the online space and then give you quizzes that will help you to figure out which one of those things is the best suit for you based on your personality. Because not everything is for everyone. If you asked me to do an ebook right now, friends, I would rather shoot myself in the foot than try to come up with an ebook, because that is not a good match for my personality and where I'm at in life. And so I'm going to help you do the same thing. Match your life and your personality to the best way for you to make revenue online. So go to creatorsroadmap.com and we'll be doing that free Facebook group starting the first week of February. So listen, my friends, look around at your competition and believe that you can do the same thing they're doing. You can do it differently. You can market yourself better and rise to the top. Please let your competitors spur you into action. Okay. And this is what I told Ari. Those people, they're not specialer than you. They're not specialer than you. But I do believe that Ari looked around and she saw the other people doing it. And she said to herself, I know that I can do it too. If they can do it, I can do it too. And I want you to know the same thing. Okay. I want you to know also that sometimes, just like Ari getting into the pool with those kids, sometimes just being with a group of other people who are doing it will cause you to change things in your life and business that maybe you've been stagnant or holding off on, because action is contagious. You're not going to want to get inside of a Facebook group with thousands of other people who are taking action and figuring some stuff out for their life and their business, and you be like the only one who doesn't take any action. Like nobody wants to be that one, right? So go to creatorsroadmap.com and I will see you inside that group. So in next week's episode here on the podcast, we are going to be talking about time management and overwhelm, which is, I know, such a hot topic for especially my creative business owners and also my stay-at-home moms and my work-from-home moms. And so I literally have come up with some tips and tricks for you. I want to give you guys a lot of the apps that I use, a lot of the tips that I use for unoverwhelming myself. My personality is one that I can handle a lot. Guys, I can spin a lot of plates. But when I become overwhelmed, I kind of shut down. And I guarantee that a lot of you creative people, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You're a plate spinner too, right? Just like those people on the circus. You are a plate spinner just like I am. And yet there comes a certain point I get to where I can't handle one more thing and then I tend to shut down. And that is never good for my business. It's never good for my life. It's not good for my family. So in next week's episode, I'm going to give you my best tips to make sure that shutting down doesn't happen to you. So tune in next week for time management and overwhelm and tips that I can help you to manage that in your life. If you haven't already subscribed to this podcast, literally, if you just go to iTunes and hit the subscribe button, when the time management overwhelm episode is ready next week, you'll just get a ding on your phone and it'll say, hey there, friend, Jennifer's podcast is up. Go listen now. So hope you guys will subscribe. Thank you so much for being here. And until next week, stay creative. Bye-bye. And look at your competition as a way to light a butt. Light a butt. Sorry, Chris. If you will look at, did you guys, on episode 100, by the way, did you hear me rapping with my husband? Because if this whole online business coach thing doesn't work out, that's our plan B. We are going to be almost 50-year-old rappers. That is going to happen. This is going to happen for us.